time?
Yes, I'm counting now. So we are going to. So first off, Team AoV have won set 1, and the Team Melee match. So we are now going to do. We're now going to start with set number 2 between Team AoV versus Multitasking Rookies, which is by Elegant AoV versus Radley.
This should be a very, very interesting match. Elegant used to be a very good Protoss, and Radley was, of course, a very good Terran. He is playing Zerg for this league. I'm not sure how his EVP is, but it will be very interesting to see how well he's doing right now.
Okay, and let's start set number 2 for Rookie Team League Week 1 between these two teams in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so as I have actually started on top of Radley, I will introduce him first. He is the Blue Zerg, playing for Multitasking Rookies, down here in the bottom left in the 8 o'clock position, I would say. And yeah, he's sending his Overlord straight off.
Yeah, he's sending his Overlord right off. I believe this is a two-player map, so it doesn't really matter where.
Map.
Yeah, so it's kind of obvious where the other side is. And on the top right, we have Elegant, representing Team AoV as a red Protoss.
Yeah, so pretty standard opening so far. There's not been any crazy. There's not usually anything super crazy this early in PvP. It is possible that Radley could have gone for a 4-pull, but I don't think that's probably going to happen in the first game of the tournament. I mean, technically for them it was their second game. They did lose the Team Melee, so while that could have affected Radley's mindset, I'm not too sure. I don't entirely know if Radley did play in that, but going from losing the Team Melee, depending on how well or how badly it went, I would doubt it, but it could actually make a little bit of a mental block for him going into the second game. Looks like Elegant's going to go for a pretty standard forward fast expand. Either that, or if he was going to be very cheeky, it would be very difficult to do on this map due to the location of the minerals. But he could actually do a cannon contain even.
And Radley actually went for overpull, as I believe. Yeah, because he had 11 drones into 10 drones into a pull, I believe.
Yeah. And it looks like Elegant's doing a pretty good job of keeping his probe alive. There's no real threats to the probe as long as he doesn't go into the drones and get it killed. Until speed comes out for the Zerg, which will be quite a while away because he's not got his gas. He's probably going to expand first. It's interesting that he went into a pool before expanding. That is a little bit safer. He wasn't able to scout him in time due to the positions of the bases and how slowly the Overlord gets over there. But as he gets there, he'll realize that there is a Nexus up, there is a Forge, and there'll be a cannon shortly, which has just gone up there as well.
And because there is no gas, Radley cannot utilize the initial tech for the Zerglings, which is the speed tech.
Yeah, so it's going to be very hard for him to get any damage done. If he got speed a little bit earlier, he could do a little bit of a Zergling run by.
Right.
Looks like Elegant's going to do a little bit of a better job of walling that off with his gateway, and but there is still a gap in which Zerglings could get through. But with this one cannon, non-speed Zerglings are probably not going to get through here.
And
He's
there
actually
is
adding a second cannon just to be sure.
Yep, and there is a SimCity wall that's being built at the Protoss main base. 3 probes, making sure that the Zerglings does not run by, but it's also harder to run by if you don't have speed tech, so...
yeah. These cannons should hold off these early Zerglings, but what it does do is it gives Radley the ability to tell if Jealous is... not Jealous, I'm in the wrong game. If Elegant is going to build any zealots and maybe send them off across the map, it makes it a lot more dangerous. There are walls all around the edge of the map, of course, but the quickest path to the Zerg base is definitely through the middle, and Radley a little bit confused with the tournament rules. Elegant setting him straight there with the best of one.
And we do see Elegant with 3 cannons. I think that is being a little overly cautious because of the fact that that the tech for speed is not happening at all for the Zerglings.
It looks like no, so it doesn't look like it's coming up yet. He's actually Elegant's done a really good job of keeping his probe alive. It is 2 hits away from death now, but he does know there's no speed. He knows there's no extra Zergling, so maybe that extra cannon was too cautious.
Yeah.
But he knows that because he's got his Nexus a little bit faster, he saw when the Zerg natural went up, he does see that the 3rd base is going up. The Zerglings do actually catch the probe on the way out. But he knows the position Radley's in. He feels safe. The extra cannon just makes him a little bit safer. He could have maybe done with his Cybernex core a little bit earlier, which the cannon did delay. But he's ahead for the time being.
Yeah, in terms of the build orders, I believe the Protoss does have a better build order because of the fact that there was Nexus first. No, it was a Forge first, but it was still Nexus after Forge compared to Overpool that wasn't able to utilize the Overpool, which you normally want to go for the speed tech.
Yeah, so Elegant's done a really good job here of actually sneaking a probe out to check how many Zerglings there are. He actually sneaks out 2, so he sends out 2 at the same time, making it a little bit harder for the Zerglings to catch up with them. They still don't have speed. It still doesn't look like speed is being researched. Possibly it is. But you've still got non-speed Zerglings against the 1 probe that's just going to run around. He's probably going to go and check for a 4th base, just in case Radley's playing super greedy. He won't be able to get off into the 3rd base. There is a really nice Zergling wall there, but he moves up to the top, checks the 4th base, and just checks for any hidden hatcheries or anything like that. He's getting his Corsairs up, normal timing. The Spire's coming up at the same time, actually going for double Stargate here, so double Stargate.
Hydralisk has been detected by by Elegant, so and it's also on the natural as the probe scouts it, which is pretty good for Protoss to know what's coming. But he does not see the Spire because there are 2 Zerglings blocking towards the main.
He does see it upgrading, which is he sees the Hydralisk down upgrading, which is an important thing. Radley has done a really fantastic thing here with his Zerglings. He's blocked the probe off from not only getting into his 3rd, but also into his main.
Yeah. And
because he doesn't have a robo yet and no observatory, he doesn't have any observers to basically go and look at exactly what Radley's doing. So Radley behind this, he could have any tech pretty much. I mean, there's only so many different techs he'll go for in CVP.
This is true.
But he still doesn't know how many hatcheries there are. He can't accurately judge when the spawn is coming up.
Is that Elegant has 2 Stargates, not 1.
Yeah.
Usually 2 Stargates is kind of uncommon. And also got another cannon up at the natural just in case there is a massive Hydralisk push. But now with the 2 Stargates, you have 3 Corsairs at the natural going after the Overlords, and there's no Hydralisk. There's no Spore Colonies.
There's no Scourging either, but there are some eggs at the natural. They're more than likely going to be Scourged.
Yeah, they are.
And they're going to pop directly on top of the Corsairs. There was a little bit of misrifle there, so he wasn't actually able to kill any of the Corsairs there. They're just going to keep wreaking havoc on all of these Overlords.
But this is big! This is huge because all these Overlord snipes actually made Radley be supply blocked. He has 39 units and on top of 27, so he needs at least 2 Overlords to get back to supply.
Yeah, so he's going to need to build those Overlords again. The Corsairs do actually have free reign of them out. There's now 4. He did lose 1, which is very unfortunate. Another 2 have now popped out. He's moving his Overlords back into his natural. There is a Spore Colony going up now, but for the time being, they're in a really rough position again. The Spore Colony does finish. There's 1 Mutalist trying to take out the Corsairs. But Elegant is certainly in a very good position here over the main with his Corsairs again.
This harassment with the Corsair is huge right now, and there's a lot more Corsairs just constantly coming in, sniping these Overlords, constantly supply blocking Radley.
It looks like from the main, Radley's actually built some Mutalisks, which is a very interesting choice here when he doesn't have air superiority. He's getting a few more Scourge as well. He's actually got up to 7 now. But with good micro, Corsairs can deal with an infinite number of Scourge, so Mulists are a very interesting choice here. Maybe Hydras would have been better, but he does have some spores as well. He's trying to run away. He's trying to do the Mulist micro against them. He gets the Scourge and does actually kill about 4 of them. So he's splitting his Mulist as well. The Corsairs do their most.
But the Mutualists all melt into pieces because the Corsairs are just that good against the Mutualists. And during the time where Elegant was pumping Corsairs after Corsairs, he didn't have any ground forces, so that gave him time to just pump out gateways now, 4 gateways at the same time, now getting a Dark Templar and a High Templar.
Yeah, the important thing is for sniping the Overlords as well with those Corsairs is it makes it a lot easier to sneak DTs in. Thankfully for Radley, he does have a spore colony with Sunkens at each of his bases other than his main, so until Elegant gets a shuttle, he's not really going to be able to get any DT harass done.
Right. Radley has gathered a good number of Scourges and Mutualists, and he may try to go for a harassment towards the base, but get intercepted by the Corsairs. So now the Protest does know what's going to happen. Does he have any Dragoons?
So this Corsair with 5 kills. It's good that he still got it alive, but he did actually lose a lot of his Corsairs. So even though it was a bit questionable to go into Mutas when he did, Radley's actually in a really good position to do a lot of damage here. There's no cannons.
There is no cannon at the main base, but Elegant is sending his Zealots, Speed Zealots, into the Zerg base.
Yeah, Radley back at home does actually have some left.
Oh, the Storm! The Storm takes out a huge chunk of Mutualist HP.
So strangely enough, he's actually camping on top of the Stargates rather than trying to get any probe damage done. That actually gives Elegant a chance to get some extra cannons up, which he doesn't appear to be doing. The Speedlords have actually moved across. It doesn't look like they were able to do any damage. They've actually lost a lot of their shields, so it looks like they did actually try and get into the natural, which is very well fortified at the moment. There's actually another 7 or so lurkers that have just actually walked, so they're going to move forward. And the Mutalists are actually just picking away at the Zealots now as they try and run back home. Elegant, throughout all of this, is getting up his 3rd, but I can't help but feel it's actually a little bit late considering the map control he had early on, especially when he had air superiority as well.
Yeah, he did have air supply superiority, but his Corsairs they still have some Corsairs, but not as much as before, so he has lost the air superiority. The Zerg is going in with the Lurkers and the Zerglings, but he did not detect the Dark Temple, and the Dark Temple is blocking the road for some of these units.
The most important story here that's completely crazy is Elegant doesn't actually have an observatory yet. Oh, he does. Okay, so he has got it, but he's not got an observer. It's building now. And there's actually about 7 or so lurkers outside of his natural. They're split well against Storm. The observer just pops out now. He only actually has 1 Dragoon though, so there's another 2. But he doesn't really have enough to break this. He's going to try with all the Zealots. Very well spread lurkers. Some of them
need to act right now, along with these lurkers. And he does, but he did lose a lot of, I believe 3 lurkers, because the Mutualist wasn't around.
Yeah, so Radley is actually in an incredible position here. He's actually going to send a Scourge in for some reason. They're actually going to take some damage from the cannons. He's pushing out to attack the lurkers again. There is an Overlord here. Is he going to be able to snipe the observer? He does!
He does snipe it!
The lurkers are now completely invisible, and Elegant is forced to move back.
Right, he needs to wait for the other 2nd observer, which is all the way back at his main base. He just made a shuttle, so it's going to take additional time for that observer. But Elegant does have a 3rd base up as well as Radley, so they're both at 3 bases right now.
Yeah, Elegant looks like he's actually going to try and sneak a 4th base down here, which is going to go unscouted for at least a little bit. Radley is going to send some...
There is a pylon actually at the 6th base. Zergling getting rid of that because the pylon was there to prevent the 4th base for the Zergling, and there's a Dark Templar happening at the top left to also prevent the Zerg to take that fort.
Yeah, that Dark Templar's actually got 2 kills. I'm not sure if that was against the drones that moved up there, but the Overlord should be able to see it, yeah. So he moves the Overlord directly over the DT. If he sends a Hydralist down there, he'll be able to take his 4th base, but he's more than likely just going to take the 6 o'clock base, or given the position he's in, it looks like Radley's actually going to push. He's got a lot of speed link. A lot of mutant still. He looks pushing straight in. He snipes another observer. So Radley is in an incredible position. He's going to have to be careful with these cannons on the high ground.
Elegant was actually in a really good defensive position because he lured the army where the cannons are. So the cannons were able to do the damage towards the Zerg, where the Zerg can't aim the tank cannons because they're in the high ground. So Elegant had a really good fight there, luring the good chunk of army. Radley lost all his neutralists.
He's pushing out with an observer with no shields, but that's actually going to be enough. Radley actually picked up a few of his units to go and take out some probes at that base. There are a lot of cannons there, but he does have a lot. He barely saved the observer, so Elegant's actually going to be able to save all these Dragoons and possibly kill all the lurkers, but the Hydras do move up, and a lot of the Dragoons are on very low health, so one lurker stun actually kills 4 Dragoons there, which is incredible.
Yeah, there was a lot of loss at once, but Elegant with a very strong position right now because he has a 4th base happening. Both are going at 4th base, but usually you want the Zerg to have more bases than the Protoss in a ZVP.
Yeah, I mean, Elegant is probably gonna... Yeah, so he's adding a lot of cannons on this base down there, but it's already been scouted by the Hydralists. They're actually chased down there by the Zealots, so that was actually a bit of a mistake there, chasing the Hydras away into its 4th base. Radley doesn't really have as much units. He's actually lifting up a huge drop of 4 Overlords with Hydra Lurk, and he's going to move across the map. It looks like he could be trying to drop in the main. There's not too much defense there. He does have his gateways that will actually send out the reinforcements. He's going to take this top base though in the top left.
Oh, and that Dark Templar on top left of his base dies down. They have to get the Lurker in it to kill it.
The interesting thing is, it looks like that DT, because of its positioning, actually saw where this drop was going to be coming from. He's going to move up with Dragoons. This drop is in a very bad position. These Dragoons could actually kill a lot of units here. If they
he snipes an Overlord that has 4 Hydralists in it.
Luckily for Radley there, he actually saves his Overlords with the lurkers in. Another one's going to go down. He actually loses a lurker and 2 lings again because he didn't evacuate it quick enough.
There was also a lurker inside that.
Directly on top of Zealots, which is never a good place to be. There is no observer here though, so there is going to be a storm that will go down. It misses 2 of the lurkers actually, so that was a bit of a misclick, but he's in a decent position in the main. He can't really do too much damage here, but he's going to have to move in.
Alright, Radley is sending his Zerg army out into the open, but is getting intercepted by Overlords and Zealots. Dragoons and Zealots that was on the high ground.
Now, Radley,
Storm!
That storm was huge.
That storm did take a lot, did a lot of damage to the Zerg. It was a pretty big storm. And Lurker's happening right in front of the Protoss army. I don't know how I feel about that. That's very, very risky for
very dangerous,
lurkers.
Especially when they're so close together as well, because one storm could wreck his day here. Radley's actually he's very low down on units. There is an observer coming up to defend, to attack these lurkers in the top left. He's actually fallen behind now. Elegant has got his 4th base up, and it's going to give him the macro to be able to deal with anything that Radley throws at him at the moment. Radley is going to need to be a little bit more cost efficient if he wants to stay in the game. He's going to try and get a flank off on the back of these units, but there is 4 High Templar there that could storm.
Well, I don't know if you see this, but Elegant has a lot of resources. Just have it in the bank. He has 2,500, 2,600 minerals and 2K gas compared to Radley's very limited resources. Oh, Storm.
Radley is in a very bad position right now. The observer did actually get sniped, which is a very good pickoff, so he may be able to clean up these units.
But can he get that actually before the Protoss units? Oh.
Yeah, he didn't even get the cancel off on the hatchery, so he does actually lose the 400 minerals there, 300 minerals even. Can never remember how expensive hatcheries are, but it does look like that small army will be tidied up eventually in the top left by the lurkers and the lings. But another huge round of reinforcements are coming up from Elegant's main, and Radley doesn't have enough to answer for it.
Right, and Elegant actually does have 3 observers on top of that army. I'm assuming because of the fact that early on there was no observers for the top left.
Yeah, so the good news is for Radley, he is up to Hive Tech, he does have his Defilers, and he's going to move out with a lot of Lings. Now, the army of Elegant is still quite Dragoon heavy, so Defilers could have a very good day with the Lings here, but with those Zealots with +2 attack under the Swarm against just 2 Carapace and 1 attack of
But not only that,
Radley's
but not only that,
Zerglings.
Protoss has a base more than the Zerg.
Yeah, and that's never a good position to be in.
You see some units going in the bottom right?
Yeah, he moved in without his swarm there. He had to force his swarm.
And there's the
GG
by Radley. Radley GG's out, which gives the score towards Elegant and Team AoV, taking the second set to 2-0.
Now that was actually a very impressive game from both sides for